Protocol for today's meeting was previously reviewed by Corporation Counsel, who indicated to me that it is compliant with the executive orders issued by the governor and fair for those watching from a remote location. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. We'll start off with a roll call. Please verbally indicate you are present when your name is called. Commissioner Kelly.
Present.
Commissioner Parkins. I didn't see her logged in. Commissioner Radomski. Okay, both of them are supposed to be participating. I'll ask for them later on. Commissioner Laskos.
Present.
Commissioner Motto.
Here.
Commissioner Tiki.
Here.
Myself, Commissioner Harger, Mr. Rossetti, our administrator.
Present.
Mr. O'Neill, our assistant administrator and CEO.
Present.
Mr. Nappy, our downtown projects coordinator.
Also present.
Mr. Panico, our consultant.
Present.
Mrs. Vernassos, our recording secretary.
Present.
Is Commissioner Parkins here yet? Commissioner Radomski? Okay, Commissioner Laskos, I'm going to seat you for Commissioner Parkins and until such time that she indicates. So we have
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We do have a quorum. For the record, alternate Commissioner Usel indicated to me yesterday that he would be unavailable for today's meeting. Couple points before continuing with our agenda. This is the Commission's 37th meeting being done via live streaming process. Mr. Rossetti will act as a Zoom meeting host. While commissioners will be able to make comments throughout the meeting, the chair asks that you please identify yourself and wait to be recognized by the chair before speaking to make sure we are not all speaking over each other, to make sure our recording secretary is clear as to who is speaking. Our applications for a certificate of zoning compliance are our first agenda items, beginning with application 5024 Sign Pro Inc., 858 Bridgeport Avenue. Is either Commissioner Parkins or Commissioner Radomski logged in yet? Okay. All right, the applicant is requesting a flush-mounted channel letter sign mounted to the exterior wall over a storefront, which would be illuminated at night. I believe the storefront is the space formerly occupied by Dress Barn in Shelton Square. The dimensions are on page 2 of the drawings. Mr. Rossetti, is that correct? Is it the former Dress Barn space?
That's correct. This is Josh.
Okay, thank you, Mr. O'Neill. Does the applicant have any further information about this sign? And please identify yourself for the record.
I'm not sure if the applicant's here or not.
Madam Chair, I don't see
Tracy Becker is signed.
an applicant here.
The applicant indicated that they would have a representative here, but I'm not sure if they made it.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Is the person identified as Meadow Lake? If you could raise your hand, are you representing this application? Go ahead. I think Meadow Lake, you should be able to speak.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
This is Commissioner Parkins. I can see you guys, but obviously you can't see me or hear me, so I don't know what's going on with Zoom.
Did you start your video down at the bottom? Is your camera open?
Well, I just finally have that option now, so here I
You
am.
are.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get on since 6 o'clock, and it's just giving me all kinds of trouble, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Your name was under Meadow Lake.
Yeah, that's what it's coming up on the screen.
That's probably where I had my Zoom account, but I didn't log on to that, so I'm not sure why, but
Okay, all right, so Commissioner Parkins is in attendance, so Commissioner Laskos, seeing that Commissioner Radomski has not indicated he's present, you will be seated for Commissioner Radomski. Okay? All right, so
Got
Commissioner Parkins, did you hear my summary of what application 5024 was for?
yeah, I've heard all the talking since
Okay.
the meeting started.
All right, Mr. Rossetti, any sign of a representative for application 5024?
Negative. I think the commission just needs to look through it themselves and then adjust
Okay.
it.
All right, so that particular part of the application is up on the screen is the layout for that particular sign. And scrolling down, there are the storefronts. Shows the existing on the left is blank storefront facade and how the sign would appear during the day and how the sign would appear at night. Is the way it appears at night, is that consistent with the rest of the signage for Shelton Square? Is that how they're lit?
Yes, there's a bunch of backlit channels all along there. Even you can see, I'm trying to remember what store this is. Is this Hallmark?
The, might be the
Yeah, that's the Hallmark.
Red Lotus, or no, is it
Oh,
Hallmark?
yeah.
Red Lotus?
Yeah, that's backlit as well.
Yeah.
You can kind of make out the verge of it.
Well, the landlord went through and changed all of the signs, the exterior signs, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago to make them all consistent. So I can't imagine he wouldn't permit a new tenant to do something that was other than what's already there. So do you remember that, Mr. Panico?
Yes, I vaguely recall that he was going to be doing that, systematically changing all the signs.
Yep. Okay.
But are they also bright white? Or are they just backlit like red and this just seems
Yeah,
very
they're different
bright.
colors depending upon the tenant.
They're internally illuminated, aren't they?
Yeah.
It just
it's,
seems overly bright.
if you could scroll down to the next page, it gives further some information, I believe. Keep going.
So one, just as you can see, the text is internally illuminated. Right here, I don't think the photograph is doing it justice. It almost looks like there's white lines
Yeah, it's like a filter on there or something.
coming through. It's these individual letters are going to be illuminated. It's not going to be like highlighted. It almost looks like there's a cross.
But are they outlined in black or are they just all bright white?
It looks like they're outlined in black. Black trim caps, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's what it says for a logo. And then for text, it also says black trim caps.
Yeah, black trim. So there'll be a black trim around it.
Okay, it also gives the transformer on the left side, the wattage and amps. So does that seem overly illuminated?
No,
No.
not at all. You have to remember that they look brighter because they're an LED.
Mhm. Yeah, if anybody that would be able to give us some comment on it would be Commissioner Kelly with his electrical background, so that's good. All right, does anybody else on the commission have any comments, questions, or concerns about this proposed sign application?
I don't have any questions or concerns. It's Commissioner Ticky.
Thank you, Commissioner
No.
Tippy. Dimensions are on page 2 of the drawing. That shows the, right there, yeah, 45 and a half high, 201 inches long. And each letter is only 11 and a half inches in height. So. Okay. All right, if there's, no one else has any comments, questions, or concerns, by the way, if you go to the first page, the very top page, I thought it did say something about this drawing right there. Whoop, too far down. Right there, building channel letters, blade, and tenant sign. There was any discussion about a blade sign? Because if you're walking past all the stores and you look up, there is like a hanging blade from the ceiling.
There was no mention of a blade sign, at least in the package that we got.
Okay.
I think that's just descriptive of what they provide.
I think you're right.
Yeah, okay. Well, just, Mr. O'Neill,
A blade sign, at least how we define it in our regulations.
just maybe perhaps you could follow up with the tenant as to have they approached the landlord about the one that hangs from the ceiling.
Sure.
You know where I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Walking
Yeah,
on
under the
sidewalk,
canopy there.
under the canopy, perfect. Okay, anybody else have any questions, comments, or concerns? Does any commissioner want to make a motion to approve application 5024?
Yeah, I'll
Make
a
motion. Okay,
I'll
go ahead,
second it.
Charlie.
Okay, so Commissioner Amato, you've made a motion to approve?
Yeah. Yes,
Commissioner Kelly seconded it?
Yes,
Okay, so on the motion to approve from Commissioner Amato, seconded by Commissioner Kelly, I'll do a roll call. Commissioner Kelly,
aye.
Commissioner Laskos,
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
Commissioner Amato,
aye.
Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Motion is passed 6-0. Okay, next item is application 5024 Blakeman Construction, 309 Bridgeport Avenue, for freestanding monument sign at the entrance to the parking lot of Brookview Apartments from Old Bridgeport Avenue. The applicant has submitted 2 options for the design of the sign. Option A is higher than option B by 4.5 inches, and it's wider by 5 inches. The font is italicized on option A, while the font on option B is a block style. The sign is held up by 2 posts. Question I have for the applicant is, are the sign posts solid stone, or is it a wood post that is stone faced? So is there someone from the a representative of the applicant present?
I'm not sure. I reached out to the applicant earlier this morning, sent out the email. I haven't heard a response. So
Okay.
I'm not positive that they're here.
Madam
And-
Chair,
Go ahead, Commissioner Kelly.
I, looking at it construction wise, it looks like it's totally stone
Mhm.
and not a veneer around a wooden post or something like that. If it was anything, it would be a veneer around a concrete post.
Yeah, this is something that is, you know, a cut and paste, and they've done some editing on it. So it's a picture that they superimposed over the parking lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we don't know what the existing one was. So there, so Mr. O'Neill,
There's
yeah,
not an existing sign. This is brand new.
I know that, but I'm saying
Oh.
they superimposed this over the parking lot to show where the position, and everything. But so the
Right.
applicant did indicate that they were not going to be.
No, they didn't. I haven't gotten a response from them. We sent out the email to the Blakeman Construction Office this morning.
Will they be landscaping the base?
Good
I
question.
believe so.
Yeah, that's not an absolute right now. So if the commission wants to move forward with this, we need to decide what option and make it a condition of approval that the base be landscaped and have staff oversee that. Does anybody have any issues with that?
Josh,
Oh.
do they intend to ground light the sign?
Yeah, they do. I believe so.
Okay, so that's a second question. Landscaping, ground illumination. So you're talking about spotlights shining up to the sign?
Correct. Yeah, there'll be stakes in the ground with a spotlight. Yep.
Ground spotlights, okay. Yeah, and,
Is the commission okay with the street number at the bottom of the sign?
well, for the option A, it has to go there because they put that little design element at the top. Whereas
Yep.
the they sort of bumped it out. It looks, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the applicant would be fine if you wanted to swap the tree or the bush, whatever that is, in the number, if that was what the commission wanted.
Yeah.
That's typically what we ask for.
Mm-hmm.
Madam Chair,
Go right ahead, Commissioner Kelly.
what do they mean by thick sign foam?
Beats the heck out of me.
You know, I'm not quite sure what that means as
Apparently,
far
it's
as
a foam
materials.
material that they engrave.
I believe it's the material of the actual sign itself. The face of the sign is some sort of foam.
Some sort of foam.
Correct.
Well, it's got to be weather resistant.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's, a foam, someone could throw a rock at it and probably break it or
Dent it.
put a hole in it or something.
Mhm.
I'm not quite sure what they mean by that.
All right, so perhaps it's best to table this to have
I
the
mean,
staff.
if it's foam, if you guys like the aesthetic, I would just act on it. I mean, if it's foam, that's their fault for choosing a bad material, and they'll have to come back before you guys for a new application. It's a PDD, so I don't know why we would not move on this. If you guys like one of the designs and want to swap the numbers from top to bottom, then do it. And
Yeah, I'm just saying that
I would agree with that.
they have, first of all, they should have had a representative present to answer these questions. It's very unusual that for sign applications that an outside design firm has prepared, that a representative isn't participating to answer questions. So
I'm sure if the
now we-
commission likes the design, we can change the
It's a pretty basic sign.
material. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
That's a basic sign. You're right.
If
I'd
it-
like to say, looks like plenty of room. If they prefer the larger sign, I don't see any problem with that. And as far as landscaping goes, it looks like it's just lawn there that's not in good shape. Is there a desire to have something more than just the
It's
lawn
likely that,
repaired?
it's likely that they're gonna landscape that. They're just showing the actual sign.
I
I'd
see.
imagine
Right.
they're gonna put some flowers or bushes underneath it.
Yeah,
I would think that they would want to dress it up
Yeah,
because it would be tough to cut the grass into that sign. So.
and we can just request it, put some landscaping around it.
Mhm.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so we add landscaping. How do you want to treat the spotlights? What direction do you want to give them on that? One spotlight facing it from the Bridgeport Avenue? There's no reason, it's on a two-sided sign, otherwise they would have.
Wouldn't that be up to the owner to whether to say he wanted spotlights or not? I mean,
I believe we.
do we have a reg that says it's got to be lit?
Madam Chair,
Go
is
ahead.
Commissioner Laskos, it looks like there's already a pipe underneath the sign. Is that like
I-
electrical conduit already coming?
No, I
out?
don't think so. It's a black pipe. I don't know what that is. Don't forget, this sign is imposed on this. It's not there yet.
Mhm.
Right, but,
Yeah, I'm not sure when this picture was taken.
and is
Right.
staff okay with the distance from the road?
Yeah, it's set back farther from the road, and it's off of the main drag of Bridgeport Avenue. They have the little side street, Old Bridgeport Avenue there.
Okay.
So it's not really visible from Bridgeport Avenue at all.
Do you have any idea as to how many feet back from the curb?
That I do not.
Okay,
It
All right.
looks like it's at least 10 feet.
yeah. Tell you the truth, everyone, we have so many questions. What's this? What's that? I'm not comfortable with going
The
forward.
site plan, the approved site plan may have the sign location on it.
They did.
Okay. It is.
So we don't have that.
Neil?
No, it was on the original site plan. I remember from the original application for the apartments itself.
Right, but do you have that dimension?
I don't have that in front of me, no.
Okay. I am reluctant to move forward on this with.
Option A looks like it's a better proportioned sign.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Especially with some base landscaping, it'll look rather attractive.
Mr. Rossetti, are you attempting to pull up a site
But
plan?
Yes.
Okay. Let's give Mr. Rossetti a chance to see what he could pull up.
This was approved quite a while ago.
Yeah, it's not going to be on the website. It'll be.
a couple of years, right? 2 or 3 years, maybe?
Yeah, 'cause
More-
there was
probably
some-
more than
there was
that.
some litigation
Okay.
involved. And then we had to redo a modified building.
Yeah, this was held up because of the lawsuit with the condos next door.
But it was still approved before the lawsuit, right?
Mhm.
I believe.
Mhm. Yeah,
So it's gotta be at least 4
We had
years
to
ago.
approve it, but then we had to approve some modifications. They had to close the driveway that they originally had coming out on the street feeding the condos and bring it out to Old Bridgeport.
All right. Unfortunately, I just searched our files. We don't have electronic files yet. We just have paper files, so I cannot show you a site plan.
I'm sure Commissioner Harger has it.
I know they're in my file. I'm looking for the, what do you call it here? What's this one called?
Brookview.
Brookview. Let me just see if my spreadsheet.
So it should be, I think, application 18-22. Josh, is that right? Can you check that?
Yep.
Right, 301.
Yeah, that was done in 2019. Was this 301 Bridgeport Avenue?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's 1822. Yeah, but what I have is not online either, so I can't help you that way.
No, I don't see a sign on what I have on.
Okay, look, I know people are, would like to move forward on this, but we've got at least 4 issues. What kind of landscaping are they gonna do? Ground spotlights, how are they gonna do that? The location of it, is there electrical run? So this is the kind of thing that I think can come back to bite us in the end, that we say, okay, do this, work it out with staff, and then it doesn't come out right. So I think,
I think you're right, Madam Chairman. The area where it's being proposed is not really that great in terms of the private site part of it. The street line looks like it's quite close.
mhm.
At the corner of the parking lot, it looks like it's no more than 4 or 5 feet to the property line. So I think he ought to give us a plan showing where it's going to be located.
Yep. Clarify what that thick sign foam is. Clarify how the uprights or posts are going to be. And give them a chance to come back with a representative to explain it all. You know, maybe this person tried to log in and they couldn't get it, but, so is there someone that would, make a motion to table this particular application? If not, you all can vote on it, but I'll tell you right now, I'm voting no against this.
I'll make a motion to table the application. Commissioner
Okay.
Parkins.
Thank you, Commissioner Parkins. So there's a motion to table from Commissioner Parkins.
I'll second it.
Second from Commissioner Kelly. So on that motion made by Commissioner Parkins, seconded by Commissioner Kelly, on a roll call, Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
Commissioner Laskos,
He's on mute. Okay.
Aye.
okay, thank you, Commissioner Laskos. Commissioner Amato,
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. So motion to table is 6-0. And if staff is unclear as to exactly what we need to do to have answered, please let me know. Okay. Okay, all right, to move on, everyone. All right, third one is application 5034 Inline Plastics, 42 Canal Street, for an extension of a temporary sign permit through the end of the year, 180 days. So it's basically through December, for a banner that is already hanging on the exterior of the building facing Canal Street, because we did give them permission to do this. And that temporary permit 5023 expires June 29th. So the information online shows you exactly what the banner looks like and where it's positioned on the building. Anybody have any comments, questions, or concerns about this? Like so many other businesses, they're in need of additional employees, and they're running into difficulties that way. So any questions from anyone?
I'm not a fan of these types of signs, but
No, I understand, Commissioner Parkins.
It's only temporary though.
Yeah,
yeah, well, temporary's been all year, right?
yeah,
Well,
now
it says
They just
190
put it up
180 days.
about a week ago.
that temporary permit was started when, Mr. O'Neill?
June 20, so a month from June 29th, so it was the end of May,
Oh,
the last
okay.
week of May, they came in, they put it
So-
up. I have the email
Yeah.
confirming that they put it up. So we gave them the temporary permit, which per the sign regulations allows them 30 consecutive days, not more than 60 days in any calendar year.
Right,
So what they're just trying to do is extend that 30-day time period to 180 days.
all right. Is the commission happy with a 6 month? Or do you want to cut it back to 3 months and have them come back? Or how do you want to do, you know?
I
I
just
don't
think
see
it
it.
sets a precedent.
I understand. Commissioner Kelly, did you want to say
Yeah,
something?
it's a relatively neat sign. It's not flopping in the wind or anything like that. I really don't see a problem in
Mhm.
extending it for the 180 days.
Sign was put up on
It's
May
consistent with
26th.
with their identification sign also.
Could you repeat that, Mr. Panico?
I'm sorry, it seems to be somewhat consistent with the other sign that they have at the
Yeah.
far end of the building. And these are extreme times that we're going through.
Yeah.
Hiring is very difficult for these people.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those extenuating conditions would justify a positive action, if you wish.
I think if staff,
Right. There's no sense of adding a burden on a burden.
I think if staff can communicate to them that we expect that they make sure that that sign stays secured to the building and,
And that it's maintained.
maintain, yeah, if any
If
damage.
there's
to
any,
it,
if there's
and
any
replace it.
indication of deterioration, it should be removed.
Yep, rips and tears, things like that, exactly. Any other comments from anybody?
The applicant is on the phone, so.
Okay.
Yes, hello.
Yes, go ahead, sir. Why don't you identify yourself for the record?
Yes, my name is Joe Ritz, the facilities manager over here at Inline Plastics in Shelton.
Okay,
Yes, I heard all the comments, and we are good neighbors. If it does start deteriorating, it'll come down immediately. It's a vital, sturdy banner, and we're trying to attract prospective employees from the Valley area.
okay. Maybe you'll have some success in the fact that fireworks will be downtown in
Oh yeah,
3 weeks. And
oh yeah, again,
big
and
area. So,
and I did sign the waiver so that we could have them because it's within 200 feet of the building.
okay. Very
So
good.
we are good neighbors.
I didn't realize that that had to be done when the fireworks are being planned. So we appreciate that for sure. So, yeah, that's the most important thing, that it is maintained, and you know, one thing I could say in your favor is, thank goodness you're not putting those wavy oval blue things stuck in along the sidewalk. Those are those things that wave in the breeze. So,
Oh yeah, we would never do anything like this. This is secured very well to the building. We had it professionally installed,
okay,
and it's a nice banner.
good,
And we had it made so it kind of matches our sign that's down the other end.
exactly.
You know, the inline plastic sign.
Yep, over the truck bays. Okay.
Yes,
All right, does any commissioner wish to make a motion on this application?
I'll make a motion in favor of this application.
All right, so you're gonna make to approve.
I'll second
and
it.
here-
Second by Commissioner Lascos.
Okay, Commissioner Lascos. Just gotta change something here. Application 5034. Did a cut and paste in my script and it didn't cut and paste right. So that was Commissioner Kelly and Commissioner Lascos, right?
Correct.
Okay, so on the motion
Yes.
to approve from Commissioner Kelly, seconded by Commissioner Lascos, I'll do a roll call. Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
Commissioner Motto,
Aye.
Commissioner Lascos,
Aye.
Commissioner Parkins.
I'm going to vote aye. I just want it noted that the reason I raised concern is that we had a similar situation on the Conti building. So I don't disagree that they are good neighbors. I don't disagree that it's a rather nice looking sign. It's
Mhm.
just the precedent that I'm worried about, as we were very concerned with the Conti building and their large sign up on the roof. So I will
Yeah.
vote aye, having said that.
Very good, thank you. I appreciate you bringing those points out. And especially with staff as not being present when that situation came up. So we have some history that we could share with them. Commissioner Kelly?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Motion is passed 6-0. Thank you very much, Mr. Rich. Okay, next.
And
agenda-
thank you for approving the application.
You're welcome. Okay, next is new business, application 2104 Woodside Plaza.
It's old business.
Oh, did I say new business? I'm sorry, old business. I'm
Old
looking at it
business.
and I said new. So old business, application 2104 Woodside Plaza, PAC LLC, 737 Bridgeport Avenue for a site plan modification of application 97-13 for demolition and development of 14,784 square feet of retail and office area with on-site parking. We had several documents were posted to the city's website for this application: site plans, floor plans, elevations dated February 11th, 2021, revised site plans and floor plans, elevations dated April 12th, and site renderings dated April 21st and April 22nd. And on June 3rd, updated site plans were posted on the city's website. We accepted this for review on March 9th of this year. Mr. Ruffalo, the applicant's architect, reviewed the proposal. And we know that it includes demolition of a two-story building, 2 one-story buildings, connecting a new 2-story building to the existing restaurant, and building a 1-story building for 3 tenants. Mr. Anastasian, one of the owners, explained that the drive-through will stay the same, but the entrance and exit will be a little wider. There will be offices on the 2nd floor of the 2-story building with retail stores on the ground floor. 123 parking spaces will be provided. I don't believe any of that information has changed with the June 3rd updated site plans that were provided. We had a discussion about the overall appearance of each building's exterior. We requested a sample of exterior finishes. Mr. Panico, you and Mr. Rossetti had a little bit of discussion on the staff level about this application. Do you want to share with us any of
Yes,
the
I
things
I
that
thought
came up?
I thought Mr. Rossetti, yeah, Alex, I thought he was distributing to the commission a draft of the standard resolution with all the necessary conditions attached to it. Did that occur?
Hang on one second, Tony. No, because I wasn't able to post it online. So it's going to follow the same format as the motion that I passed out previously. There would just be some special conditions that Tony and I have worked on, and I can walk you through those on screen with, I see that Alan has joined us, and I don't know if Perry's available as well. I see PAC LLC or PAC LLC.
Yeah, do you want to start your video, PAC LLC, if you care to? What you're going to review, Mr. Rossetti, are those all the points that Mr. Panico had listed?
Correct. So I'll share our screen really quick.
There are a few things to be cleaned up, but they're relatively minor and there's no reason why they can't be addressed. And
Okay, why don't you go through them all, then the commission can weigh in on any questions.
All right. Do you want to, Alex, or you want me to do it?
Yeah, I'll do it really quick. I got it pulled up. So first thing, I'll just kind of move from west to east. Is, they have a parking space existing over here. I didn't know if they'd want to just retain those, if they just didn't want to draw them in, or if they plan on removing them. Another is this minimum sidewalk should be 5 feet regardless of car overhang. So just making sure that the sidewalk is deep enough to ensure that there's adequate walking space. There's a bit of a gap here, about 18 inches as Tony measured, between the proposed second story building and the existing restaurant. Here, I'll zoom in a little bit for everybody. That helps. And just making sure that that's tended to, either with a little fence or, I don't know, just to make sure trash doesn't build up back there.
You talk about a gap between the building that goes from the front sidewalk to the rear of the building.
Yeah, right here. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
These, unless we're going to move to the UK, these arrows are backwards. So
That's minor.
probably flip those guys around. So right here, it's showing a new riser and pole in kind of this section of the driveway. I'm guessing that probably just needs to be slid over a foot or two, or maybe the driveway extends out a foot or two, but either way, just want to make sure that's attended to. And I see Alan is shaking his head yes. As existing, there are 2 islands here by this drive-through, which we think is appropriate. Kind of prevents people from being goofy and parking on the line or anything like that. So keeping those, and I think ideally it'd be nice to see these islands landscaped, not just concrete, but they are what they are. Having a crosswalk here is an important piece, just to tie the whole site together. And ideally, if it was raised, and that way it kind of provided, I'm sure you've all seen them, the raised crosswalks that act as a slight speed hump, just so it kind of makes you pay attention to what's going on. Having, again, just kind of 2 islands over here, just for a little bit of aesthetic, and also just keeping the parking spaces tidy. And that way people can, move around the site, not have to worry about people hanging off the edge or whatever. And then the last point would just be, sidewalks. And, would the commission like them to prep this area, not necessarily install, but just have this area prepped, just like with Fountain Square and like with CVS, that it be made possible for future sidewalk development.
Alex, by the way, this one is date stamped received June 1st by Planning and Zoning. The one that's updated on the website, it was added June 3rd, and it does not have those conflicting arrows that you refer to the UK.
Okay, then
Okay.
this is a markup I did
Yeah.
the other day.
And that light pole is not there in the driveway.
All right, perfect. So
Okay.
that's already taken care of then. So these are all pretty minor things. Tony, I feel comfortable that these last few details we can work out. The only one detail we wanted the commission to really discuss was the treatment of the rear, and perhaps if John Ruffalo has any examples, or if he could provide any description as to the hardboard and drive-it that they were proposing. But other than that, I think that was
The
it.
hardy board comes in so many different variations that we need a little more specific. Is he going to introduce horizontal lines, vertical lines, or just plain panels?
So John and Perry, if you guys could speak to that.
Yeah, we were looking at using sort of a textured wood panel.
And John, could you get closer to the screen and show that up close?
See there,
Yeah.
like a panel. This is a piece here that I cut out. So it's a textured piece, about 4¼ inches high, and it's put on like regular siding. We would have a plywood backing on it and waterproofing and so on, like that on the back.
Is
And
it
then
intended to
bottom of-
look like a clapboard?
Yeah, it's like a clapboard. Yeah. And it has a wood texture on it. I actually turned the piece. It should go the other way, but.
Okay.
So,
I'm not sure. I don't know how you're describing it.
okay. Well, I can take a piece over to Alex tomorrow, and because it has a wood texture
Mhm.
on it, and it comes in various colors, and Trying to use tan type color, beige color.
So it's like a wood grain?
It's a wood grain, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But what I'm trying to figure out is it all one big flat surface, or does it look like brickwork, or what is it?
It's all individual siding pieces. Is that what you're talking about? It's
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm asking. Are they individual pieces of siding?
yes, yeah, that's what,
And how, what's that dimension?
probably the height is about 4.25.
Oh, okay. All right.
So they look like strips of siding, but they're the hardy board.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So there's a line between the boards then?
Yeah, you'll see a shadow line because they overlap.
Okay.
They overlap.
So it's like clapboard.
It's kind of simulated clapboard then.
Okay. So it's on the rustic side.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Jenny, I didn't.
I said it seems like, it sounds like it's on the rustic side. Somewhat. Okay. All right, anybody else have any questions for Mr. Ruffalo?
I guess we can get those specifications put right on the drawing eventually.
Mm-hmm.
It will be on the final construction drawings.
Okay.
Mr. Panico, did you have a question about the signage in front of each of the tenant spaces?
I just wanted to chat a little bit about it. When I looked at the architectural drawing, the elevations, I mean, the signage is nice and modest. My question is it too modest? Are we going to be pressured later on by a tenant that wants a bigger sign? Or should we anticipate it and make the sign panels a little bit bigger? I don't know which.
The panels right now are about 4 foot wide, about 12 to 14 inches high.
Yeah. Is it your feeling that that's generous enough for a tenant? If it is, it's okay with me. I just don't want to find us backed into a corner later on.
Well, probably for a simple name, if the name's like 8 or 10 words or something, which I doubt.
Well, as long as you as the owners have to implement that, don't let us be the bad guys.
Well, if it's too long, then we're going to make it 2 lines. Just not 1 line. We're trying to stay in 1 line.
On the, one of the drawings that was uploaded is on June 3rd is A-1.1, and that's a close-up of the portion of the building to the right of Plaza Diner. So you know what the width of each storefront is. Are we?
Yeah, the doors to each are 3 foot wide doors, so the sign is a little longer than the door itself, and it's mounted on the canopy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, is there a chance that you might have a prospective tenant that wants 2 spaces?
Yeah, possible, yes.
Yeah, so do they get an 8-foot long sign?
Sure.
I don't know.
Okay.
Consistent with the elevation.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to the elevation if you can, Al.
There's only going to be really, if they want 2 spaces, the 2 doors are right next to each other.
Right, so you could have one contiguous sign, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just don't want a hodgepodge of styles.
Right. And I don't want to tie them down so much that they end up plastering the windows with signs to make up for it.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah. We have those neon open, closed, whatever. It gets a little.
Alice, can you show us the elevation again? Okay, that's it, where there's a pair of them. See, in effect, they have an 8-foot sign there now.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2 4-footers roughly. So that should handle a larger tenant.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Seal space. Was there some kind of question, Mr. Panico, about the rear entrances? For some reason, I have that written down.
No, there's on the looking at it at the site plan, at the rear corner of the 2-story building where it meets the restaurant, it was just a little bit confusing to me. I wanted to make sure that all the pieces worked, the doorways, the sidewalk, the parking area, et cetera. So I thought if we could see a slightly larger detail of that, that would work out.
Okay.
And
18-inch gap was to pull the building away a little and then infill the gap. So we would be a little further away from the existing building and allow for exiting. So the exiting from the existing restaurant still stays intact.
okay.
That's
Mhm.
ramp is still there.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure all those things work without banging into each other.
Yeah, we're about 16 inches or so from the building. It's close. That's because of the upper second floor has a back hallway.
Mhm. So on A-S.1, the back left corner of the existing building, it says loading zone. It's where that back left corner sort of is superimposed on the drawing over Plaza Diner. That's what,
I don't have my drawing with me. That's Al's drawing. Oh, you have the other.
I don't know what's gonna show. No, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, yeah, superimposed it over the steps. Is that what you're seeing, Jenny?
Yeah, the back left corner. Where it says loading zone, that little pointy left corner.
Yeah, I think if the loading zone were rotated so it was parallel to the building, it would make it easier to access and egress it.
Mhm. Okay, Mr. Panico, wasn't there something about having that sidewalk that goes between the two buildings raised for pedestrian safety, so they're not walking on the roadway?
Correct, we mentioned that.
Okay, you did, good. And what about this, the dumpster location and capacity? Wasn't there something about that, Mr. Panico?
Staff was going out there to look at it. I don't know what the results of their field investigation were.
Okay,
I don't know if Ken or Josh are still available. They were the ones that went out there. You guys still there? Doesn't sound like it.
Here.
Nope. Josh, you want to speak to it?
So yeah, the dumpster enclosure is big enough for three separate dumpsters. There were three there when we went there today. The only thing missing was a front gate, but the rest of the enclosure on three sides was all, mason concrete blocks.
okay. Mr. Panico, did you have some kind of thought as the fact that the sliding gates are good for when the vehicle has to come in and dump the dumpster, but for people that are walking garbage?
If we were going to make some modifications
Yeah.
to the dumpster, it would be desirable to provide the dumpster enclosed area with a pedestrian gate so that they don't have to open up the big gate in order to dump their rubbish and then fail to close the big gate many times.
Yeah, true. So it's like a doorway.
Right. So,
Yeah.
I'll have to work with staff and see what can be done, or perhaps Mr. Ruffalo can take a look at it also.
Mhm.
And I want to make sure that the applicant is satisfied that he has enough capacity in that dumpster enclosure to handle the expanded operation, in view of the fact that it is serving three different food operations. They tend to generate a lot of refuse. And also the recent experience we had with a lot of trash dumped behind the diner restaurant, as one of our commissioners took a bunch of pictures of.
Mhm.
So we don't want that to happen again.
Right. Okay, and Mr. Panico, do you want to address the thought of having the sidewalk that goes in front of that leads to Plaza Diner, but terminates at the door that goes to the lobby, and then there's a separate sidewalk that comes up from the parking lot that goes in the other doorway?
Could we look at that map again, Alex?
As
Your marked up drawing? Good.
zoom in
Back a
on
little
that?
bit so that we can see the corner of the, here we go, that's good.
Can you enlarge
Commission,
that?
the commission had imposed on the development next door to create the opportunity to bring a sidewalk to that common property line. Then the next thing is we need to link that with the sidewalk in front of these stores. Now, there's a couple of ways of doing it. One is to create a sidewalk from that point to the restaurant and then tie it into the existing, to the commercial walkway. Or you can extend the sidewalk along Bridgeport Avenue to a particular point and then link it to the sidewalk in front of these stores. And I think we're looking for some feelings from the commission as to which way they would prefer seeing it.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know if everybody understands, but there are two entrances into Plaza Diner. The one on the left closest to the Fountain Square Hill is a short entrance. And then there's the fencing so that people don't walk into the triangular landscaped area. And then there's the long sidewalk in front of all of the tenants, and that terminates to the door that goes into Plaza Diner, into the lobby. Those two sidewalks don't connect, but I think Mr. Panico felt that a slight modification of that triangular area could make those two connect, and then a new sidewalk continue in front of the four windows on the left side and go down to Bridgeport Avenue. So pedestrians, if they are coming down Bridgeport Avenue at some point, they are not going to have to walk through a parking lot with cars moving about to go from one place to the other. They can enter, walk along the property line by the Fountain Square Hill. When they hit the Plaza Diner front four windows, they can take a right, continue along, and then they'll be able to walk in front of the tenants that are there. So I had shared a Google map with Mr. Panico earlier, but I don't believe it's loaded, and it shows it pretty clearly. So maybe that's something that
They will have to resolve the corner of the restaurant where the present sidewalk goes into the restaurant from the satellite stores, and then you have a front door as well. So there's a gap in the continuity of the sidewalk right there.
Mhm.
That would have to be resolved, but it can be done.
Sure. Yep, absolutely. So
My preference would be to provide a sidewalk from the restaurant along the end of the parking lot out to Bridgeport Avenue
mhm,
to the other sidewalk. That would seem to me to make more sense.
Yep.
yeah,
It's more comfortable walking internally on the site than it is to walk along Bridgeport Avenue.
mhm. And it's better not to walk through the parking lot.
Yes, and then when you do get a point of entry, you're going to have to cross a couple of lanes of traffic,
Mhm,
parking lot traffic.
yeah. The only thing I'm thinking about, okay, it's summer, we don't have snow on the ground. How's that going to impact their snow removal, Mr. Panico?
I'm sorry, what was it?
Right now, we're in the beginning of summer, there is no snow on the ground, but if a sidewalk is installed there, how is that going to impact their snow removal? Is there enough of a snow shelf?
Well, that's quite a grass strip, so there should be enough room. But
I'm not talking about-
that is a concern.
I'm not talking about the area parallel, the grassy strip that's parallel to Bridgeport Avenue, but I'm talking about if you walk down in front of Fountain Square, you hit the driveway, you take a left and you you're heading toward the Plaza Diner building
Mhm.
along the property line. That's the area to the left. That's where that gully is. Is there room there?
No one's gonna be walking there.
So,
Unless they're gonna be climbing mountains of snow.
is there somebody from the applicant that wanted to say something? No?
If I'd speak up, Al Shepherd.
Hi, Alan.
Hi. I think, the walkway there, we'd take a little finesse and fine tuning, but we could do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Even in front of the building, we can get it. Be, not that wide, but at least it connects like you guys do.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to take a look at that embankment there, but if I can get a little snow shelf in there, we can do that.
Okay.
I hear your concerns with that. We'll get it, we can.
I know when we approved the PDD next door, we had a long discussion about whether we should obligate them to create that snow shelf and to be able, I'm sorry, to create that area for a new sidewalk. And the sentiment of the commission was that if and when the plaza got rebuilt, as now it is happening, then it becomes, you need to provide an attractive and comfortable way to have interconnection between the two developments.
Mhm.
Jenny,
We'll have a problem with that.
could we go back to Al's drawing of the site plan?
Sure. Alex, you want to see the first site plan? Is it the A-SS1 or the one that's marked up?
It could be either one.
Okay, how's that work?
Yeah,
Yeah, that one's good.
Yeah.
Okay,
I know the last time you talked about an island planter at the end of the row in the center. Now, we're looking at it, thinking that more of a hindrance because of the traffic pattern coming in to going towards the back into Dunkin' Donuts. So,
John, I can't hear you too well.
He fades.
The side, the island in the second row. I don't know if you could, this one right here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go back, Mark. You're in the, yeah, there. Because the left lane is for the drive-through. So you're gonna have cars backed up. And the right lane is for people that wanna, employees of the diners,
I
employees,
thought it was the other way around.
people that wanna go into Dunkin' Donuts. So that's gonna shift the,
No, the right lane feeds the drive-through, doesn't it?
no, the left lane
Oh.
does.
So what do? They crisscross once they get into the back?
Well, if someone has to go to the diner, they cut through the drive-through line. Yeah, people are courteous. They let people through. But
Okay.
that's gonna,
It just seemed to me logically, the drive-through line ought to be against the one-story building.
well, that's because they have to go to the left to swing around to get to the ordering board.
Either way.
I don't know, Tony, if you know where the menu board is. The menu is on the left. It's not on the right.
Okay.
The menu board's right there.
It's even higher on the drawing. Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
There it is.
This is Ken. I do use it quite often. And Tony, the right turn, it feeds the parking lot for people that are going into the restaurant.
Mm-hmm. Walk-ins.
So that island and that middle row of parking is gonna bottle things up. That one right there, yeah.
Mhm.
Because you're right in line with that drive-through. So they're gonna be shifted over to the right, so they're gonna be in the way of people that are going to dunk or going
Well, then maybe you
anywhere
could just
except the
look at,
drive-through.
look at the configuration of it. Maybe it can be reduced a little bit or cut that corner off. You know, I'm not sitting here designing your site.
But maybe you can eliminate a parking space?
If you need to, but you could also keep the end of that island closest to Bridgeport Avenue can stay where it is, and you can just taper it over so that it aligns. There's a smooth transition to the curb line. Is what I'm saying.
All right.
I think Al knows what we're talking about. And if the island has to go, well, then we'll do something else about it.
Wouldn't the elimination of one parking space in that strip
You could.
care of it, and then you just shift the island over to the left? So, all right. Is there-
There are solutions. If that's in the way, then by all means move it. We didn't put it there.
Okay,
We didn't draw the drawings.
all right. Mr. Pianico, anything else that you could think of? If not, I was gonna ask Mr. Rossetti if he had anything that came to mind.
I think we touched on everything. Clean up the dumpster, the gap. No, I think we've touched on everything.
Okay, Mr. Rossetti, do you have anything to add?
Sorry, just got to unmute. No, I mean, if the commission would like to make a motion, we have something prepared. You know, I think we've,
Okay, do any commissioners have any comments, questions, or concerns?
Yeah,
Before-
Chairman, this is Commissioner Ticky.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to add my voice. I do think thus just prepping for a sidewalk, for possible future use is smart for us to do, as lots might be connected.
Mm-hmm. You're right. Okay,
Commissioner Parkins,
go ahead.
I think it's a little backwards to not request a brand new development that's being built to put in sidewalks, to have them wait for a existing complex that might be renovated to put in sidewalks before they do. So it's a little backwards, I think, in my opinion, to do that. So
Well, I presume we have the ability to tell Fountain Square to put it in.
Yeah,
well, that's certainly what we did with the one on Platte Road. We said, if you put it in, hopefully other people will follow. So, we've got a brand new development going in that it wasn't required of them.
Mhm.
But now, if somebody else that's had an existing site is just being asked to, and that's just remodeling buildings on the site, that part of the site is not being touched. But I do agree that some sort of transition, I really don't see people traveling from Fountain Square, to be honest, on foot, walking over to the Plaza Diner. But I do think the alternative of putting in the sidewalk, as Mr. Panico indicated, on the side, the entrance side, and then come down to the sidewalk would be a safer move.
Okay, that sidewalk was part of the original decision though, Ruth, on the front of Fountain Square.
Well, it sounds like it was contingent upon the diner putting in a sidewalk.
I'm not sure the exact wording that we use. I think it was basically at the discretion of the commission when it was ready to connect to something. We didn't feel we could compel them to build a sidewalk that went nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have the ability to connect it in a sizable fashion along the fronts of all these new stores that are going to be built here, as well as servicing the diner.
Well, I think the sidewalk along the driveway into the plaza makes sense, especially with the mark across the street. If the state would be so amenable to putting in at least a crosswalk painting, it would, alleviate a lot of people having to drive over there, where they could just walk from the mark across the
Mhm.
street to the
Mhm.
diner.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anybody else?
Can I mention something, Jenny?
Sure.
That property where you guys are,
Damon, just for a minute, just for the recording secretary, that is Mr. Anastasian from Plaza Diner. Go ahead.
that property where you're proposing the sidewalk, that's state property. So we tried to put poles there, light the night, to light our parking lot, and the state wouldn't allow us to do that. So are they gonna allow us to put a sidewalk there? And if they do, who will take the liability if somebody slips and falls?
Then tell them why, because in the future they want to widen it.
Yeah. And their argument, the state's argument was, if they ever wanted to make the road bigger, that they have the opportunity to do that. So where does that leave us?
Well, somehow the commission has made it a condition of approval for a lot of projects up and down Bridgeport Avenue to lay in the groundwork for a sidewalk. And that's all been done through the state up and down Bridgeport Avenue. So
If the space is available.
correct, which they have space on this site.
In addition, the applicant has parking out there. If he's that sensitive that he's not going to be able to have that parking all the time, why should we be expanding the center if those spaces are really in jeopardy?
It's not a parking issue. It's just the issue of the sidewalk. We're not saying that we're gonna put parking spaces.
You mentioned things like widening the road and all that.
The state said that. The state said that. That's why they turned us
But if
down.
they widen that road, you're going to lose your parking lot.
You're 100% right. That's why we hope it never happens.
Right.
I don't know, Tony, can they install a sidewalk on state right of way?
I believe with the approval of the state, they can.
How long ago, Mr. Anastasian, did you have that conversation with the state?
Oh, it was a while ago that we wanted to put the light the night poles up there, and we even told them that, we'll sign a legal document to say that if and when you do widen the road we'll take the expense of removing, all of that equipment.
Mhm.
They said no to us.
Al Shepherd, you're the engineer, and you have a lot of negotiations with the state. Do you believe the state will let us put that little piece of sidewalk in at that corner?
A little piece into the building, yes, without a doubt. So if we're going.
So
if
there's
we're
no
going
problem
on
then.
the west side into the building along the brook, that,
You'll have to look and see where the sidewalk on the adjacent property is planned on ending,
yes.
and you need to coordinate with that.
And then to get them in the plaza, I would agree with my client that, along Bridgeport Avenue, I'm Mets and Mets about putting the driveway in there. I think we could get it approved from the state if we had to, but getting them into the property along Bridgeport Avenue, along the brook on the west side, it's probably doable. And then you get them into shop and stuff like that. They'll walk inside along our sidewalk down to the east side, which is a lot more user-friendly than along Bridgeport Avenue. So I think we could work it out. If we had to do it along Bridgeport Avenue, they would probably approve us with a little bit of caveats. But I would rather not, I'd rather just get them into the property.
I believe that's the proper solution.
Okay.
One other quick question. So next door, they tore down Sears building and they built CVS. Were they asked to put sidewalks out front? Or was that tabled, or they're
That
gonna?
was discussed.
Where does theirs?
They have to provide sidewalks as they come online on Bridgeport Avenue. So theirs is prepared.
So
That was-
basically, we're just kicking the can further down the street, right? So you got, when Fountain Square does it, we'll do it.
That's not true. That's a terrible thing to say. We've dealt with this up and down Bridgeport Avenue on many occasions, and all the commissioners will avow. Where we have the opportunity and it's reasonable, we've required it. We've also negotiated with developers who have agreed that if and when we have other sidewalks coming to them, they will do their part. So we don't just kick the can down the road.
Maybe what Mr. Anastation is saying is who starts the ball rolling with the first sidewalk?
Exactly.
I think once we get a string of, right now, everything's kind of patchy, but looking at this, we've got Fountain Square, CVS, all the way down to the corner. I mean, this may be an appropriate place to start, but.
Well, let's just not make this particular applicant have to carry the burden. when
He's not
this-
on either side. It's graded for it.
Right.
I
Maybe
could be
the appropriate
mistaken, but
way
I
to
believe
connect-
we've only required this on new development,
We have.
Mhm,
only new development. So this is not a new development, is my point.
mhm.
So if we didn't require it for a new development, why are we requiring it just for a remodel of a building?
I'm
Well,
not saying that they install a sidewalk. I'm just saying
We
have it.
did require it of the new development, Ruth.
That's not what was stated earlier, Tony. I'm just going by what was stated earlier. I wasn't on the commission then.
Okay. And the commission's intent is to provide some sort of convenient and safe linkage for pedestrian movement throughout this commercial complex. As the gentleman indicated, what about CVS next door? Well, maybe since we have the sidewalk going in front of his proposed buildings interior to the site, and there is a connection between the two parcels right there, maybe it's an interior connection that takes place, not out on the Bridgeport Avenue pavement. Maybe that's the logical place to address it.
mhm.
We will definitely, we'll follow suit. If it comes to Fountain Square, of course, we're going to continue it.
Mhm.
Well, I think the good solution is to do what Tony proposed and just put the sidewalk coming in from that entrance rather than along Bridgeport Avenue.
Mhm.
It's on the Cisco truck Friday.
Okay, Mr. Mr. Rossetti.
Commissioner Wadowski.
Okay, Commissioner Radomski has joined the meeting. He was held up
Friday.
due to the weather on his way home and traffic. So I'm seating Commissioner Radomski, Commissioner Laskos. Going to unseat you right now.
Okay,
Commissioner Radomski, we have had quite a bit of discussion about the Woodside Plaza remodel application.
Yeah, I'll take a look at the plans to get caught up. But I did catch most of the conversation about the sidewalk, and the goal of, and you all know I've been pushing the sidewalks along Bridgeport Avenue. I think it's a great idea that we need those. They're more of a necessity than anything else. We've had a couple of deaths along that stretch of the road, and I know Fountain Square is set for it. This property was in between Fountain Square and the CVS building, and yes, the CVS building, part of that was to put a sidewalk in, and it wasn't a brand new construction per se. It was a remodel, tear down and remodel of the previous building. So it wasn't a brand new development there that when that sidewalk was agreed to be put in at a future date. Same thing with going down to the corner. So this is just a continuation of something that we're setting up for the future. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen today, but like I think it was Alex was saying, maybe now that we have all the pieces in the puzzle together, maybe it's something that we should start looking at, maybe to start doing.
Okay. All right, Mr. Rossetti, I think we're at a point where you could, unless a commissioner has any other comments that they want to make, we could move into hearing what the resolution is that you prepared.
Okay. So there is a motion to approve the.
We haven't made a motion yet.
Sorry, my
Okay.
mistake. There is a comments from the staff for 2104 Woodside Plaza for a site plan application on plans entitled Woodside Plaza / Plaza Diner, prepared by John Ruffalo Architects and NOK, dated April 12th, 2021, and the final revision of May 28th, 2021. The plan shall be null and void if the construction is not complete within 5 years of this approval date. And revisions or modifications to the site plan are subject to review and approval by staff prior to commencement and may require the commission's approval. Failure to notify staff of any changes may result in the issuance of a stop work order or other sanctions. No certificate of zoning compliance will be issued until adherence of the requirements of the Inland Wetlands Coordinator is provided, which they have. Wetlands already approved this application. And that all utilities serving the development shall be underground and noted on the map. And with the following special conditions, that a minimum 5-foot walkway be maintained without encroachment of parked vehicles overhanging the sidewalk. A landscape island shall be provided in front of the proposed buildings on each side and adjacent, and additionally in the rear. That building sidewalks, sorry, where'd it go? Oh, for traffic calming measures, a walkway shall be installed between the two buildings, and ideally it should be raised to control speed traveling through the passway. Minor issues shall be addressed per staff's recommendations. And the other issues have been addressed, the hardy board and the signage. So
What
that
about
is it.
the, not so much a raised walkway between, like a speed bump between the
Correct.
buildings, but
I just mentioned that there should be a crosswalk between the two 1-story and 2-story buildings, and it should be raised to control speed between the two buildings or the one-way.
It would be continuity of the sidewalk on each side.
yes, I understand that. What I was trying to get to was, I thought we had mentioned that if there is pedestrian trying to walk to between on those two traffic lanes to the back of the buildings, that they would not be walking on the road, but is there a little raised sidewalk there?
There is none at the present time, and there isn't much room for one, unfortunately.
That wasn't something that we were going to ask the,
Well, I thought at length about that.
okay,
And I was going to suggest at one time that a safety walk
Mhm.
very narrow safety walk be provided, but that would mean reducing that 24-foot travel way between the front and the back to
Mhm.
about 22 feet. And I'm not sure that that would be acceptable.
And the
Okay.
applicant indicated, there's the walkthrough through the building, so that seems to be the way the people are using it.
That's what was explained to us when we brought up that issue, that the end of that building has in effect a common passage through. with
Yeah.
A front door and a back door that you could walk through.
So those doors are going to be kept unlocked 24/7?
Well, that's the common elevator that serves the second floor, so I assume they would be.
I think that's a,
Well, it's, if the commission wishes it otherwise,
yeah.
all we have to do is state it.
Well, I would just
it
hate
would
to have a
probably mean that
pedestrian
If you wanted
walking.
to- If you wanted to preserve the 24-foot driveway connection, you would have to shave a couple of feet off the smaller building.
Mhm. And anyone from the applicant weigh in on whether or not that building can be shifted at all a foot to accommodate at least one sidewalk? I would just hate to see somebody walking there and not
I
be noticed.
agree. I agree. I really think an emergency walk, and it doesn't have to be a full width walkway, obviously, just a safety walk.
Mhm.
How wide are you looking for?
2 feet, 30 inches, 2 feet will probably do it.
Tony, why can't we just paint a safety walk along the side of the
I
building?
think that, would you feel safe in a safety walk with cars coming and going by you? I wouldn't.
4 feet is
If you're
pretty,
gonna
That's the way
do it,
people
you do
drive
it
it.
right, otherwise don't do it.
but you're looking just on one side?
I thought it only needs to be on one side, up against a two-story building is where it ought to go.
Well, we already got that passageway at that end from the front to back.
That's the second aspect of it. Is it going to be open all the time? That's what the chairman was asking.
Well, so what, 12 o'clock probably?
I don't know. You guys have to answer those questions, not me.
You're gonna have to bear the burden of the liability if a pedestrian gets hit.
That's right. It's their insurance, not ours.
Mhm. Yeah, we're just trying to.
We'll just get blame for bad planning.
Exactly. And we're
Madam
trying
Chair,
our
may I
best
address
not
you?
to.
Chairman,
Madam Chairman,
Go
may I
right ahead.
address you?
Go ahead, Mr. Nappy.
I just want to remind it that we have crosswalks on major state highways with the proper signage. The state law provides that every car stop if there's a pedestrian in a crosswalk. So at the minimum, maybe we should also require a crosswalk from the back to the front with the proper signage installed by the owner, which would stop the vehicles if someone is in the crosswalk. Also has to be lighting so that the people can be observed in a crosswalk. So the state law does allow that, as you know, on state highways like 110, 108. The same thing happens, and there are, with the proper signage, including Meadow Street, where we've had an accident prior to the proper signage, that it allows for that. So at the least, I would just encourage that there be a painted crosswalk from the back to the rear with the proper signage installed.
Mhm.
Well, do you think it would really work though, Ken?
Chairman Harger, Commissioner Wodomski.
Okay, go ahead, Commissioner Wodomski.
I think if my memory serves me correct, yeah, in a state road or a city road, the laws for the right of way with the crosswalk apply. We're on private property here, and as Ken knows, most laws, vehicular laws, don't apply in private property.
Just this one does, as does the.
Because the last ones I saw that applied were DUIs and reckless driving, and other than that, and Ken, you know this, if somebody gets hit, it's a property damage sometimes. You can do an action report, but it's a private property issue.
Right, but I think also, with due respect, that it's also in the category of handicap parking, on private parking, which is regulated by state statute. So that's something that if you want us to verify, we can, Mark.
Yeah, I would rather verify that, you know, part of our state statute for planning and zoning is to make sure what we do is safe. And I don't like the attitude, well, it's not our insurance, it's they have to take on the liability. I think that's kind of, it's correct to a certain point, but I just think it's, and I think, you know, Commissioner Parkins summed it up, you know, it's just, we're gonna get blamed for poor planning, and then that just makes us look bad.
Mhm.
Take anything like that into consideration.
I would
Right,
think.
my comment was just as a minimum, that should be done.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't like the flush mounted. I would rather a raised 24-inch wide sidewalk. Is it possible for the building on the right to be shifted to accommodate the 24 inches that would be required to install a sidewalk?
Madam Chair,
Go right ahead, Commissioner Kelly.
can't we reduce the area where the stairwell is and so on and so forth? The back,
Let the
the
applicant
back aisle is
step in
like
and
5
decide
foot.
how he wants to do it, you know?
Well, that's true, but I mean, to make it a sidewalk outside.
Mhm.
Oh, I see where the stairwell is now. It's at the very end.
Maybe 24 feet of pavement isn't mandatory. I don't know. Al, what do you say? You're the engineer.
I think, because it's both one way, I think we could cut that down. I got 23.5 feet. So if I make the aisle spaces 9 feet a piece, you know, they're not getting out of their cars there, they're just driving through it. I could probably do what the board wants to do and still keep what the applicant wants to do with the buildings. Because 99 is 18, and that should give me enough for one walkway, but it'd be still a small walkway.
Yeah, you know, it's one
All you
person,
need is one.
just for one, fit one person. And I'm measuring out here on my desk. I could fit within 24 inches.
Yeah. So we could,
Well,
Today
the
I
way
can't.
Al's talking, he was going to give you, sounds like 3 or 4 feet.
yeah, correct. And I think that would probably suit all parties.
I agree, Al.
I think that's a good compromise.
All right, good.
All right, so that would be a condition of approval?
Right.
On the 2-story building side,
Yep.
I think that's the preferable side because that's where most of the parking in the rear is.
I agree with you, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Clarify.
So 24-inch sidewalk, wide sidewalk on that passway. All right, was there anything else that we need to make a condition of approval? How, do we need to mention about that space between the buildings, making sure that it's sealed, the 18-inch gap?
Well, that's one of the comments and we'll make sure it's addressed.
Okay. The dumpsters, is that part of the resolution? I'm just looking at this list.
Well, I need feedback from that because I have not seen it, so I don't know. I can't address it.
Mhm. Okay, I'm just looking to see what else we need to have in this resolution.
Mhm. And the drawings will be detailed by the architect and specify the siding in the back, so that'll be taken care of.
Mhm. You know,
The colors of the drive it and stuff, I don't know if the commission has any concerns about it or leave it up to the applicant or what, so.
well, I hope they don't go for like a purple chartreuse.
A what?
Purple chartreuse color scheme. I don't think
I
that's
doubt it.
either.
I doubt it.
Yeah, so,
They're beige colors.
right, earth tones.
Was there anything in there about signage?
Yes, we have already just talked about that. They're 4
Okay.
feet wide.
The architectural elevations have allocated sign panels, Mark.
Okay.
Mhm.
Monument sign included in that?
No,
There was no representation of changing their monument sign yet. They have an existing monument sign.
Okay.
okay.
And the dumpsters, and Jenny mentioned something about the dumpsters. We're gonna get those closed in this time, this project.
Well, apparently they are closed in.
Well, on sheet A-S.1 that was put on the website on June 3rd, the dumpster has a notation for sliding gates in the front. And what Mr. Panico has suggested is that the applicant also install like a pedestrian door on the side so that somebody moving trash, walking trash over doesn't have to open up a gate, throw their trash in, and they turn around, they forget to close the gate. When the gate swings open, they go in and out of a doorway.
And I also assume that the property owner, I don't know who's responsible for the rubbish removal. I'm going to assume that it's the property owner. If it turns out that the enclosure is marginal in capacity, he's going to have to increase the frequency of pickup. That's the only other alternative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they need to work that out. Yeah, because otherwise, what, they have Valley Health.
That's generally it's an ongoing maintenance problem for the site manager. You know?
Yeah. Okay. All right, any other comments, questions, or concerns by the commission having to do with this resolution? Okay, is there any commissioner who would like to move this resolution?
I'll move it.
Okay, there's a motion. Is that a motion to approve, Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Okay, motion to approve application 2104, the resolution read by Mr. Rossetti with the specific conditions of approval having to do with 5 years completion. All changes have to be communicated to staff or risk a stop work order. Underground utilities, 5-foot walkway in front of the buildings, immediately in front of the buildings, landscaped islands, raised walkway between buildings, and a 24-inch wide sidewalk. Is there a question? Okay, is there a second?
Commissioner Ticky, I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Ticky. So on the motion to approve made by Commissioner Kelly, seconded by Commissioner Ticky, do a roll call. Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
Commissioner Radomski.
Aye.
That's an aye.
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Amato,
Aye.
Commissioner Ticky,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Motion to approve has passed 6-0. I just want to mention to the applicant, we really look forward to the improvements that you're going to do to the plaza. You have been a long time commercial operation in Shelton. We wish you all the best. I hope you don't feel that we have picked this apart, but we're just looking to make sure that everything is done appropriately and that it's successful and gives even more success in the future. So you are
Thank you.
a good commercial tenant in town, and we want to just make sure that you continue to be successul for Shelton and for yourselves.
Can I say something?
You can say, they can hear you.
Sure, Mr. Pettis, how are you?
Finally, it's over. Thank you very much. We appreciate, and you're going to be very happy with us.
I'm sure we will. Staff will make sure that they talk to you on a continuous basis about this. I think they understand our concerns. Okay, moving on, under new business, we have 6 applications to accept and set public hearings. Mr. Rossetti sent out an email earlier today with the link that also at the bottom of the email gave the schedule of meetings that he's proposing for the next couple of months. And that email had the suggested public hearing dates. So for the first one is application 20-22 Riverview Park Royal. Dominic Thomas for Getz Associates, 123 Canal Street, for a special exception in a riverfront district zone for a 5-story mixed-use building with 13,500 square feet of retail, 96 residential units, and 183 parking spaces on 1.68 acres. Is there a motion to accept for review?
I'll make a motion to accept for review.
And
I'll second it.
Okay, hold on. I just need to include the comment. The motion to accept for review would have a public hearing date of July 21st. So Commissioner Amato, is that okay for you?
Yeah.
Okay,
July
And Commissioner Kelly, you're gonna still second?
Yes,
Okay, so on the motion to accept 20-22 for review with a July 21st public hearing date, do roll call. Commissioner Kelly,
aye.
Commissioner Wodomski, Rudy. Commissioner Tiki,
No, I'm here. I apologize. I couldn't find the button. Aye.
okay. Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
Commissioner Motto,
Aye.
Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Motion to accept for review instead of July 21st meeting, public hearing date is approved 6-0. Next is application 20-25 Canal Recreational Building. Dominic Thomas for Getz Associates at 113 Canal Street for a plant development district in IB-2 zone for a 4-story recreational building with aquatic features on the first floor, fitness studio spaces above, and 87 parking spaces on 0.64 acres. Is there a motion to accept for review and set a public hearing date for July 21st as well?
So move.
And is that Commissioner Kelly?
Yes,
Okay, motion from Commissioner Kelly. Is there a second?
Commissioner Parkins will second.
Thank you, Commissioner Parkins. So on the motion to accept 2025 for review with a July 21st public hearing date, I'll do a roll call. Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
Commissioner Amato,
Aye.
Commissioner Wodomski,
Aye.
Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
aye.
and the chair votes aye. Motion to accept for review with a July 21st public hearing date is approved 6-0. Next is application 21-12, 79 Platte Road LLC for a regulations text change of Schedule A permitted uses, line 45, building contractors, businesses and storage yards to change from being prohibited in an IA2 zone to permitted by special exception. Motion to accept for review, please, and set a public hearing date of June 23rd.
Commissioner Parkins will make that
Word.
motion.
Did someone say June 23rd?
Yes.
Alex, did we make the regional referrals?
What was that, Tony?
Did we make the regional referrals?
Yes, they've been sent out
Okay, so we're okay there, and the state,
on the 30-month time or 30-day timeline. Yeah.
yes, good, okay.
Okay, so is there a second?
Commissioner Tiki will second.
Thank you. So in the motion to accept with a June 23rd public hearing date made by Commissioner Parkins, seconded by Commissioner Tiki. Roll call, Commissioner Wodomski,
Yes, aye.
Commissioner Motto,
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
and chair votes aye. Motion has passed 6-0 for application 20-12. Next is application 20-21-13, City of Shelton for regulations text changes of section 5.3 accessory warehousing and storage and Schedule A line use 42A permitting accessory warehousing in an LIP zone with site plan approval. Is there a motion to accept 21-13 for review?
Commissioner Tiki will motion.
Okay, and is there a second?
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry, and a public hearing date of June 16th, Commissioner Tiki?
June 16th.
June
Wow.
16th, or,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what was on the memo,
okay, sure.
right, Mr. Rossetti?
That's correct.
Okay, so,
May I ask Alex a question?
sure.
Yeah.
On that 2113 City of Shelton, were we also going to include on that same hearing the elimination of that the PDD on the Moss piece? Or is that going to be a different night?
The Moss property is gonna be a whole different ballgame. I just wanted to do one thing at a time.
Okay,
Thanks, Tony.
Okay, so there's a motion to accept 2113 for review and set a public hearing date of June 16th. That was made by Commissioner Tiki. And second, please, I don't believe I got that far.
It was me.
Okay,
Elaine.
Commissioner Amato did a
Yeah.
second. So roll call vote, Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
Commissioner Radomski,
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
Commissioner Motto,
Aye.
and chair votes aye. Motion to approve by, it's been passed by vote 6-0 with public hearing date June 16th. Okay, next is application 2114. Whoops. Which is re-subdivision of Harrington Manor, Dominic Thomas for Vales Developers LLC, corner of Soundview Avenue and Old Orchard Road on 1.98 acres for a 2-lot subdivision. Is there a motion to accept for review? Set a public hearing date of June 23rd.
Yeah, hang on, Madam Chair, can we not set the hearing date for this one yet? I know the applicant is going on some vacation, so I'd like to have some time to work that out.
Okay, so that changed since the memo, your email came out?
Yes, more or less. So
Okay.
that's gonna be revised.
Okay, so we're looking for someone to make a motion to accept for review and for staff to set the public hearing date.
Do you want to table it, Cindy, in the meantime, till we find out?
No, we don't have to do that for,
Commissioner Tiki will motion for staff to set the public hearing and inform the commission.
okay. Is there a second on that?
Commissioner
Second.
Parkins will second.
Okay, Commissioner Parkins. All right, so application 2114. We're making a motion to set for review and staff to set the public hearing date, made by Commissioner Tiki, seconded by Commissioner Parkins. Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
Commissioner Motto,
Aye.
and Commissioner Radomski.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Motion has been approved by a vote of 6-0.
Now, Madam Chair, let me interrupt you just for one more second, if I may.
Sure.
For this next application, application 2116, there's been some discussion among staff and other commissions and Corporation Council. This item should read application 21-16 Vista Apartments 2, Vista Apartments LLC at 1039 Howe Avenue for resubmission of a special exception in a CA3 zone for phase 2 of Vista Apartments on 1.9 acres for a high-density residential development with on-site parking for acceptance, review, and public hearing.
All right, so we're eliminating 28 residential units with 57 parking spaces.
Correct. That
All right,
those numbers
so-
are likely going to change, and we would like them not to be part of the record, and this agenda will be modified.
Okay, and the acreage is only 1.9?
1.93. Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. All right, 1.93 acres for a high density, and what's the rest of that phrase?
For a high-density residential development with on-site parking.
Okay, so a slight language change. So application 2116 Vista Apartments 2, Vista Apartments LLC at 1039 Howe Avenue for resubmission of a special exception in the CA3 zone for phase 2 of the Vista Apartments on 1.93 acres for a high-density residential development with on-site parking. Is there a motion to accept for review?
Can I just ask for Commissioner
Parkins?
Chairwoman, can I just ask for clarification? This had already come before the commission. Was there any resolution to that application at that time? It sounds like this is a revision, but I don't recall there being a resolution or a table or withdrawal for that.
The long short of it is the application was withdrawn
Okay.
because the application needs, at some point, it will likely, as proposed, it will need a variance because of the minimum lot area per dwelling unit standard. And as previously proposed, they did not meet that standard. So they withdrew the application to go to Zoning Board of Appeals. Now,
Okay.
behind the scenes, there's been a lot of conversations as to how this should work. So it's coming back before the commission. There's a plan in place, but those numbers are, as they were printed, those are not correct. They are being modified, but it's essentially a very similar plan, and it's the resubmission of something almost exactly to this effect.
Thank you for that clarification.
Okay, thank you. All right, so is there a motion? And Mr. Rossetti, we still working with the June 23rd public hearing?
You know, I'd like to, if staff could set this one just in
Yeah,
case.
Sure. All right, so we're looking for someone to make a motion to accept application 2116 for review and for staff to set a public hearing date. Is there someone that can make a motion on that?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner
stated.
Amato. And is there a second?
Commissioner Parkins will second.
Thank you, Commissioner Parkins. So on the motion to accept 2116 for review with staff setting a public hearing date made by Commissioner Amato, second by Commissioner Parkins. Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
Commissioner Radomski,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Amato,
Aye.
Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Motion's been approved 6-0. Okay, we're on to the public portion of the agenda. Mr. Rossetti, is there anyone from the public that has indicated they would like to address the commission on any topic not on the agenda?
Nope.
Okay, no one has indicated that. All right. Then we'll move on to comments from the chair and subcommittee chairs. One thing I want to mention, Commissioner Parkins and I were in attendance at this morning's SEDC meeting, and Mr. Grimmer gave updates of the redevelopment activities on Canal Street. Regarding 267 Canal Street, Star Pin, it seems that the only debris left is in the canal, and that will be addressed. Ty and bond environmental site assessments on the property are expected to be completed by mid-July. The remedial action plan is expected to be in place by the end of the year. Regarding 281, 287 Canal Street, which is Ascom Hassler, we're now on phase 2 of the environmental site assessment of the property, and the expected completion for the assessment is at the end of September. Plans for the reconstruction of the canal and Worcester Street intersection are being reviewed by the Public Works Director. Regarding restoration of the Shelton Canal Lock and Riverwalk extension, the SEDC is continuing plans for an environmental restoration of the canals, historic preservation of the last remaining canal lock, and an analysis of how this area can be connected to the Housatonic Riverwalk. Commissioner Parkins, is there anything that you'd like to add to that?
No, I think you about covered it. There's lots of good work going on down there.
Yep, busy down there for sure. The other thing is that I did bring to Mr. Rossetti's attention my thoughts that we probably should start looking at the commission meeting again in person at City Hall once the mandates have been relaxed, and we're not at that point yet. So it's not that in 2 weeks we're all going to be at City Hall. Maybe this is something that by the end of summer in September would be possible to implement. We're looking at the executive orders that have been issued by the governor to make sure we're in compliance in all manners. So I did speak to Attorney Teodoso, and I'm not sure if I misunderstood something that he said to me, but Mr. Rossetti and I are going to pursue that. Mr. Rossetti shared with me some information late this afternoon. So we'll clear that up. But I just want to put that in the back of everybody's mind. You know, we've always tried to, by moving our meeting times to 4 o'clock and then to 6 o'clock, to be able to serve the public. And this is, I think, another means of doing that. And we'll just at some point have a discussion of that to see how the commission wants to proceed with that. We do, the mayor has indicated City Hall would be available when needed for that. So I just tossing that out there right now.
We may want to also consider keeping the meeting to start at 6. I think it's a
Yeah.
more,
Exactly.
because sometimes it's very late by the
Mhm.
time the meetings end.
Yeah.
But
I was thinking the same thing, Ruth.
But
Mhm.
it's time for the government to open its doors again to the people.
Yeah. Yep. No, I mean, there's a lot of places where you don't have to wear masks anymore. And I have to say, I did get a couple cross eyes at me when I went to ShopRite a couple weeks ago, and they had the big sign on the outside saying masks are not required if you're fully vaccinated. So, but I understand people being concerned, and this was too serious of an issue that came up this past year that we all had to deal with. And I think in the long run, we dealt with it pretty well personally, not as well as being a commission. And, you know, I do feel very badly for all those people that have lost family members and friends and coworkers over the past year. Who would have thought, you know, like 16 months ago that we would ever had to have dealt with something like this, but we did in the best way we possibly could. So Commissioner Motto, do you have any comments from the zoning subcommittee?
Yes, we met on May 28th, and Mr. Rossetti went through every single line of our zoning regulations to explain what's being thought about each restriction or allowance on the IA1 zone, which is what the Moss property likely will be zoned as if we make that zone change. The other, and I think, Alex, you said perhaps there would be a workshop at some point so that everyone on the commission could go through this in detail as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a lot of work to do. You guys left me with plenty to do, so. I'm
Yeah,
not there yet.
yeah. We also had a discussion about which Commissioner Wadomski had brought a copy of the zoning regulation from another town, I forget which one, where they have required that all new construction, commercial construction, have solar panels. So we had some pros and cons talked about that, and I think the direction that I had suggested is that we talk about asking for some kind of plan from these projects for either energy conservation or renewable energy, but not specifically, not necessarily a requirement for solar panels. So I think that's the direction we may go in. And the other thing we discussed, which is a pet interest of mine, is landscaping. And, I'd like to see that we put something into the regulations about not allowing non-native invasive plants to be used in landscaping and to encourage more native plantings. So that's what we talked about.
And for that particular item, you were going to look into providing a list of what is an appropriate type of plant and ones versus ones.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, and it may not be done right away. There's a lot going on for staff right now, but I'm going to do some more research on what's being done in other communities. The whole native plants is pretty complicated, actually, and there's a lot of different opinions about how things should be defined and looked at. So,
right. I thought you mentioned that there was a website or something.
Oh, the state has a list of invasive plants that, but it's not an exhaustive list.
Okay.
But
the comment that Commissioner Mano made that caught me by surprise is that burning bush is a non-native invasive plant, and I think the state uses it quite a bit along highways.
I think they may have stopped, but yeah, you can. There are places I could just show you around town where that's all you can see, in the woods. You don't notice it at this time of year so much, but in the fall you can see it where it's just everywhere and there's nothing else. So that's a definition of invasive.
And along that line, Commissioner Amato also mentioned that the one native plant that seems to be pretty prolific is poison ivy.
Yes, that's right. No shortage of poison ivy.
Yeah, I was actually talking to my husband about, maybe we should rent a goat for the back of the house.
Yeah.
So they're good for that, apparently. Okay, anything else, Commissioner Amato?
I think that sums it up unless my Ruth or Mark would like to add something.
No, nothing to add. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Radomski, you're good?
I'm good.
Okay. Commissioner Kelly, do you have any comments from the downtown subcommittee?
Well, I did text Ken Nappy and Alex to see if we could get a meeting going for downtown. And Ken and I have been on the phone a few times. Maybe he can add something to it.
Okay, I'll be calling his name shortly. So anything else though? That's about it?
No, that's about it. It's, what I wanted to do is maybe get a synopsis or a progress report from some of the developers. Also, as you stated, what's going on in Canal Street,
Okay.
mediation of the land, so on and so forth, but that's hard to do on Zoom. So
Okay.
like I said, maybe Ken has something to add to that.
All right. So moving into the staff area, Mr. Zeddy, you have any comments?
I have nothing further to add right now. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. O'Neill, you have any comments prior to the zoning enforcement report, which is a separate agenda item?
No comments.
Okay, Mr. Nappy, your turn. You have any comments for us?
Yeah, what they thought they would do is to have the developers would be available after the 4th of July holiday. Right
Mhm.
now, it's a busy time of season. In the meantime, they're ripping up all of Center Street and part of Howe Avenue to install a gas main.
Oh, really?
So further put some added pressure on them. It's graduation and it's 4th of July.
Mhm.
So we will have something, they said after the holidays, hopefully in person.
Very good. Okay. I did see some kind of, had a conversation with Mr. Stanziel about parking signage that they're,
Yeah, I could tell you the parking signage has been approved.
Mhm.
We met with the police department. They're walking through and just verifying the locations.
Mm.
Met with Public Works and the police department and Public Works will be installing the sign. Asked that it be installed before the holiday, July 4th. They're going to try to get that done by the end of June.
yeah, that would be great. With the number of people that would be expected for fireworks. All right, last item on the
I
agenda.
could add one
Go ahead.
thing.
Sure.
Is that they're also considering, and that's why they're postponing till after July, to take the city's offer up on the buses that were purchased from Valley Transit. And until they can settle the trolley issue with the hotels, they want to start a shuttle from the downtown area to the different parking lots Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So that's in discussion both with the Corporation Council and the developers.
Okay, very good. All right, and having brought up Mr. Stanziel's name, I'm not sure if people are aware on the commission that besides his phase 2 of the Cedar Village at Carroll's, he is now the owner of the apartment building that is on the corner of Cornell and Howe Avenue, where there's the little parking lot. He is totally gutting and renovating that 6-family apartment house. And he assures me that he will be doing the quality of that he did in the phase 1. And we pretty much, all of us saw the results of his building. So I have every confidence that he is going to come through on that. He especially noted that he would be pouring cement to me. And I said, well, you can be parking in the parking lot, the sidewalk one. He goes, no, that's what I use for insulation. That's the soundproofing. So That's what he did on Cedar Village 1, and I'm sure he's doing it on Cedar Village 2, but he is doing it on the apartment house, and he will open it up for us to take a tour, which I look very forward to.
I also noticed the large apartment building, apartment house, looks like a 6-family at least, that's next to Cedar Village, heading toward downtown.
That's the one I'm referring to.
Oh,
That's the
Okay.
one, yeah.
very nice job. I noticed that the other day heading up
Yeah.
that way. I was like, wow, that obviously this is caught on. People are renovating their property. Didn't realize it was him. Kudos to
Yep.
him.
Yep, and he is more than interested in other similar projects in the neighborhood. So,
Yeah, you said Cornell and Howe, so I was a little thrown
I'm
off
sorry,
there.
did I say Cornell and how? I meant Cornell and
Quorum.
Porn. That's
Yep.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very nice.
Yep, yeah, and that's just it. Just putting up the siding just made that look so much better.
Yep.
So it'd be nice if that would have a ripple effect. So last item on the agenda is approval of the April 28th, May 11th, and May 26th minutes. Does anyone have any comments or changes for the April 28th minutes? I just have one slight, under old business, under section A, application 2105, I did present a timeline recap of that application and what documents have been submitted, and I just wanted that to be noted for the record, as well as under section B, application 2104, that the chair did give a timeline recap and what documents have been submitted to the city. So is there anyone else that has anything? Okay, hearing none, is there anyone that wants to make a motion to approve the April 28th minutes?
We're pooping out on you here.
Hello.
Sure.
Did everybody do their homework?
Yes, I did.
Chairwoman, I'll make a motion for approval.
Thank you, Commissioner Tiki. Motion to
I'll
approve.
second it, Chairman.
April 28th, Commissioner Tiki, second Commissioner Kelly. Roll call, Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
Commissioner Mato,
Aye.
Commissioner Wodomski,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Parkins.
I will abstain. I was not present.
Okay. Abstain, and Commissioner Harger votes aye. Motion to approve the April 28th minutes passed with a vote of 5-0-1. Next is the comments or changes for the May 11th minutes. I have none myself. Anybody have any comments, changes?
Looked okay to me.
Very good.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, motion to approve the May 11th minutes, Commissioner Parkins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Mato. On a roll call, Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
Commissioner Radomski.
I'm going to abstain. I didn't read them.
Okay, Commissioner Mato,
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion to approve the May 11th minutes have been approved 5-0-1. Okay, the last one is the minutes for May 26th. Any comments or changes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, there are no comments I can make. So there's a motion to approve from Commissioner Parkins. Is there a second?
Commissioner Tiki will second.
Go ahead.
Commissioner Parkins has made a motion to approve May 26th, seconded by Commissioner Tiki. So on the motion to approve, Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
Commissioner Mato,
Aye.
Commissioner Radomski.
I'm going to abstain. I didn't get a chance to read them. I apologize.
Okay, and Commissioner Harder votes aye. Motion has to approve has passed 5-0-1. All right, seeing that there's no other item on the agenda, the chair declares this meeting adjourned as of 8:03 p.m.